Time now for our first match. It is Method versus Epsilon. And gentlemen, they're a boisterous crowd. I love this. See if the energy stays throughout these 7 matches. Let's get your prediction. Gregan, we got yours earlier, but I have to come to Cole because you were pulled out and thrown about by Tylacto.
Ask me my prediction, Tom.
Okay, all right, Cole. After you've heard Tylacto say those nasty things about you, who do you reckon's going to win this?
Well, despite not playing their full team, Method have got 2 really good players and Tylacto.
Oh!
I think that they're going to have enough. I think Epsilon are going to take it.
Okay, that's a great prediction. And Gregan, you said your prediction was Epsilon just.
Do you know, I've actually thought about it.
Oh, you've changed your mind. You've seen the players come down and you've changed your mind.
Legitimately, Tylacto and Flame play in a team together with a guy called Continuum. Continuum and a lot have very similar play styles. They like to try and do crazy touches. So I think this is going to seem quite normal for them. I think I'm swaying back towards Method, just slightly.
So, see, what I like to do is put you under pressure a little bit earlier on and then give you the time to retract that.
There we go.
Stumpy, are you saying it could be Epsilon or Method? Who are you going to go with, Gregan or Cole? Gregan or Cole?
After Tylacto had a go at me and Cole, I'm going to say that he's going to be the weak link in the team and he's going to let them both down.
Okay.
So I'm going to go for Epsilon on this, but only just.
Okay, you've gone with your emotions rather than your head.
Always do, mate.
Okay, lovely stuff. Listen, what we're going to do right now is I am going to say hello to the 2 casters that are looking after proceedings today. They are Shogun, they are Johnny Boy. Gentlemen, how are you diddling?
Doing pretty good over here.
Yeah.
It's no yin and yang for you to make fun of us. You know, we're making sure never to wear black and white shirts.
That was previous week about the shirt attire. But you gentlemen, you look very excited about this semi-final. Are you?
Very. It's best of 7, so lots of games to look forward to. Hopefully, we will get to see at least 6 or 7 games. I'm certainly pretty excited about Epsilon's chances because a full strength roster of Method put them down pretty hard last week, but this, I think, should be a much closer affair.
Yeah, Epsilon throughout this entire season really has been the bar to really be set against every other team that has championship credentials. Only teams that have beat them so far have been ones that we've expected to see to go on to do very good things. This is now going to be a test for Method. You've got a new roster here. Is that roster good enough to defeat one of the most consistent teams this season in the form of Epsilon? We are going to find out. Last week, Epsilon were outclassed. This week, new class entirely, as we're going to see a brand new roster. Here we go. Game number 1 of our first semi-final. Ladies and gentlemen, it's game time.
Epsilon have a real shot here of making the final, but my eyes are mainly going to be on repicks. You said consistency has been Epsilon's strength in the past few weeks, but remember, Repix did start off the season very, very shaky. He was nervous on the stage, and now, like Onset and Ariel talked about earlier, the nerves are going to be turned up to 11 because the crowd is turned up today to watch some games. Semi-final is a much more nerve-wracking occasion than league play. Will Repix and the gang be able to hold up to the task that is beating a lot Tylacto and Flame? No easy feat.
On the other side of that, we're going to be looking towards the only main roster player on the side of Method. It is going to be a lot, as his teammates are off in America competing in a different tournament. So he's going to be holding up the flag for his team around here. Is he going to be able to really step up and be that main man? I think he would have been studying from Remco last week, although that is going to be a terrible ball, effectively passing it to his opponents.
Yeah, a lot stepping off the goal and trusting Flame to do more than center the ball. That was a little bit unfortunate with how it bounced, but Flame pre-jumping off the wall to try and read that as it rolled into the ceiling. Did not predict it correctly, pinches it the wrong direction. Very bad start for Method. Epsilon quick to capitalize, 1-0 within the first minute. I really think that a fast start for Epsilon could be an easy win for them today. Method need to try to shut down Epsilon and do it early. This is a team who have more experience playing together. So as this series goes on, I imagine they're just going to go and get stronger and stronger.
There's also a team that has got less experience on stage. Flame and Tylacto, very little time up there. And if you don't allow them to get comfortable in this series, then you could offer yourself a pretty simple 4-0. It's exactly what Epsilon will be looking to do, as a lot taking a very defensive role on this team. Wants to be the start of the plays rather than the finish. As you see him immediately rotate back. Looking a lot like how Frag was playing throughout the majority of the season. For reason. Although I don't quite like the idea of him always staying back. It's going to offer very little midfield pressure.
A lot is one of those players who prefers to make runs upfield. But he knows that he is the main man for Method today. They need him to play his A game. They need him to shore up any weaknesses in defense that there might be. That's a great chance for the aforementioned. Flame did well to leave the ball to a lot there. You knew a lot had a good shot. Lining up. Still only a goal in this as we approach halftime in the first game. Method clinging on to game one, but they're yet to score, which is not a good sign. This is a chance, but Repix out of boost, not able to chase it.
Oh, Repix took a couple of attempts to get over to that boost. Does slow down the rotation for the time being. Flame, how much has he got to deal with this? Enough to use the wall and push it out. But Epsilon now looking to force their opponents into their own half, wasting more and more time on that clock, holding on to that 1-0 lead. And finally, a big booming shot from Tylacto can put up high, but there will be no follow-up. As Epsilon happy to make them work as Data forced to make a goal line save. Now can go onto the counter-attack, looks to get the block, but a lot there just in time. And immediately, once again, rotating back.
It's very interesting to see a lot taking probably the most defensive positioning I've ever seen from him. Will this be a continuation throughout the series? Only time will tell. For the time being, a lot is trying to keep this Epsilon score at 1. It hasn't really looked very threatening towards either goal. There's a chance Repix with a great set down. The shot is a bit too slow. Tylacto keeps it out. Still only a goal in this.
And that slow shot actually had full potential to completely trick Tylacto. A lot of players like to just jump the moment they see it move. But instead, took his time. Just pushed it over into the corner. Expect to see a lot move further and further out now. A minute remaining and they are still down. As he's going to be now in position for a pass that is too close to the wall. Just cannot get there to do anything with it. They need that to come all the way out to allow the third player to come in for a shot. As they start to move more and more further forward, but these looping clears, slowing down the ball every single time by Method. It's exactly what they need because it then forces Method, Epsilon I should say, to have to waste some boost to get up to the ball. And not only that, but more and more time off that clock. Final 40 seconds and nothing dangerous put towards Epsilon's defense just yet.
Epsilon are doing a good job diluting any pressure that Method are trying to create. A lot is now stepping forward for one of the first times in the series. He's played a pretty solid defensive game, but they need a goal if they want to take game one into overtime. Final 20 seconds, great knock on by Flame, but it is going to be saved. Method are stepping it up in the final minute. Still in need of a goal. And now or never, Shogun.
Straight off that backboard, Tylacto is not allowed to run onto the ball. Flame, ball off the backboard, Tylacto with the flop, and a lot has moved too far forward. He never gave himself the choice to come in for the rebound.
That was so close. Well played by Tylacto and Flame to keep the ball alive in front of the net.
Up there? I can't imagine
it might have been.
Close.
He might have been. A lot wanted to put himself close enough to catch that ball if it would fall straight down on top of him, but Tylacto was going for the pass off the backboard. It's in these final second situations, it's really hard to be organized and put together a full team passing play. But I do love that they were willing to step forward, try to get the equalizer. Of course, it was their own demise was themselves that put them 1-0 down. A lot looked very solid in defense, except for the one misplay by Flame, where he centered the ball in front of their own net. Pretty uneventful game one, both pretty cagey to start things off. I don't expect low-scoring games like that to be a recurring feature throughout this series, as these teams have lots of goal-scoring potential.
Yeah, it really did seem like we learned very little from that game in particular. The only person here that's really whose mind we really have to get into is a lot. Started to move forward towards the end there. He got better results for it. I can understand being a defensive player, especially when you're with teammates that you're not quite too familiar with. I think he overdid it, though. He didn't give himself enough time. Once they were one goal down, immediately the strategy should have changed.
I do think that this is a good foundation for a lot to build upon this series. He started off, like you said, very defensive, waited till the final minute to start getting aggressive. But defense has always been a lot's weakness, and he looked really solid last game. I'm very impressed that he was able to transition into that role so fluidly in the absence of Metza and Magnus. Now we have game two. This is a best of 7, so plenty chance for Method to get the comeback trail fully underway. Here comes a lot. Good block though by his zero boost Repex. Will we have another early blunder in defense? Flame looking pretty dodgy on the wall here. This time he does get the clear, which he was not able to find in the previous game. But everybody's on the same side of the field. No one covered in the far post. That should have been a goal for, oh my goodness, everybody on Epsilon. Flailing at the ball, not getting shots on target. Should have been 1-0 once again inside the first minute.
Absolutely should have been, but this is very smart from Epsilon. They are forcing that ball off the backboard, making the two relatively new LAN players make tough decisions. If they start to make mistakes, you know that's going to plague them as this series moves on.
Free shot, maybe.
Flame is going to take his time. Expected the shot to come in from Tylacto. Didn't get in quite as early as he was expecting. So it's going to be flicked over yet again. A lot. Puts that one up high. He is already being a lot more aggressive to start this game off, but we know the inherent risks that does put. It means that there is the potential for mistakes. As Flame going to look to try and get this one out. That is going to be in a danger. Oh! Too close. Run onto it, lads.
Tylacto was in the right position, but a little bit too far forward. Made the run early. That's a good pass. So Flame again. Tylacto a little bit too far forward to catch the center ball from a lot. Good vision by Flame to find a lot, who is looking a lot more aggressive in game 2. This is more of what we're used to seeing from him, waiting in the midfield, looking for the redirects to split apart the opponent's defense. Great that method have been able to hold this Epsilon team at bay after that early mistake. They did not crumble. It doesn't seem to have affected them at all that they are the cause of their own one goal that they have conceded this series.
Epsilon continuing to be very strong on that defense, leaving 2 players back. Always making sure there is a way of trying to sweep up, although they're starting to get caught in their own half a lot. Not be able to follow that. Oh, it's almost followed up by Tylacto. No contact means no goal, but Flame will continue to try and push this one forward a lot. Once again, getting there beforehand. Epsilon need to not allow Method, despite it being a difficulty, to get the pace ramped up. It is all Method at this moment in time.
The demo from a lot opened up the gates, but they were shut down by Alex161. Repix drops it down. Nobody is there. A lot is first to every ball that spills loose in the midfield at the moment. Fastest player on the field by a landslide is the Swedish captain. But still, Method have nothing to show for all that. Is it until now? It is open, but a lot is whiffed on that shot. Still Method have all the pressure. They need to be so careful not to overextend as we move closer and closer to that final minute, where goals are so much more likely in Rocket League to happen.
Both teams have had opportunities, neither team able to capitalize. We start heading into the final 90 seconds of game number 2, and a very big match indeed. Epsilon have the opportunity to either double their lead, or Method will tie this up. And that's going to be a long pass over to Data, but there is Tylacto on the goal line. Well rotated in, but 2 players committed. Is going to offer Data the opportunity to come back in. Off the side. And it's going to, thankfully for Epsilon, roll away from the danger area. Once again, so close, but we are still all tied up. 60 seconds remaining.
What a dribble from a lot here. It was a great shot by Data, rattling the inside off the crossbar and the post simultaneously. A lot with the presence of mind to find the back pass. We're inside the final minute now. 1 goal was all that separated the 2 teams in game 1. It looks like 1 goal will be all that separates them in game 2, unless there's a flurry in the final minute. A lot with a great save. Made himself as big as possible. Once again, he's upfield looking for the redirect. That is a good one. 1 player at the game. Data is, however, standing firm in the way. But until now, Flame 1-0 for Method.
And what a great pass that was indeed. Putting the large ball up there, forcing 2 players to commit, and then took advantage a lot. Puts that one straight out, and finally Flame, very close to the side of the wall, expected the pass, and what an angle, slotting that right through the middle of the defense.
Once again, Method up the ante in the final minute. Create a flurry of chances. There's another one. That's just outside the net. Crossbar down. It would have been a double for Flame, who has been striking the ball pretty well towards the end of the game. 10 seconds remain. A lot with a cheeky little fake. All they need to do is keep Epsilon boxed into their own half. Flame does exactly that. A lot is up, but he will miss. Maybe 1 chance, and it will be a shot on net. Alex161 redirects it. It will hit the ground. necessary touch from Alex to keep that away from the goalkeeper, but it did also keep it away from the net. 1-0 for Method this time. Lots of chances, though, despite the low score.
And in that game, the quietest player in terms of score was a lot. Flame and Tylacto seem to have got their feet firmly onto the ground, and they're starting to run with this one. Looking a lot more comfortable that game. Everyone's starting to take part in a more traditional rotation, as we're going to take a look at some of the highlights from that last game. Tylacto started off a little bit shaky, and they'll be happy to have got away with that.
They really should have conceded on the rebound, but somehow Method escaped another first-minute disaster. This could have been better from Data. It was immediately in the follow-up that he got that shot to rattle off the inside of the crossbar. Great save there by a lot. And it was so close. Look how nearly Repix was to hitting that ball.
And a lot. His 50-50 game is on point right now. He has to win pretty much all of them if he doesn't want to have his teammates on the defense, and he has pretty much done so. At the very least, it's going sideways, but nothing dangerous, nothing that's taken him out of the game so far. So it means in terms of his confidence, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, a lot. You did point out he had a low score at the end of last game. I would expect a lot of that to be down to the fact that midfield hits in Rocket League don't generate as many points as center balls and clear balls do. But you're still making very, very useful hits, taking opponents out the game, passing the ball to teammates. Exactly the role that we're used to seeing him play when he is alongside Metza and Magnus on a week-to-week basis. Certainly the best player on the pitch at the moment, in my opinion. But he needs to have another few consistent games. Does a lot. Long series here. We're 1-1. Well, best of 7 has become a best of 5. First chance goes to Flame again. Data is there. That first minute, I still want to see a consistent first minute from Method. They've been so careless in both the games before this one to allow chances for their opponents. Will they be able to escape the first minute of game 3 without Epsilon scoring, or at least in the game 2 they should have scored as well?
Epsilon becoming a little bit predictable right now with their way of playing the ball. Every single time they are trying to get it out of their own side. It's been big touches, no attempts to really do anything else.
Oh my goodness.
As that was a long time Flame was stood still for. Still on the goal line.
What is
Alex,
happening?
161 almost turns that one straight in, goes off the crossbar. Very messy indeed.
I think the ball just bounced 3 times consecutively without any touches from anyone on the field. A couple of fake aerials and blocks, attempted blocks coming in. Of course, blocks only work if your opponent hits the ball. Like I said, messy start here. A long way to go. Teams need to remain consistent, and that is another chance going astray. Repix not quite in time to slot it into what was a wide open net. A lot trying to find Tylacto. Tylacto again, a little bit too far forward. He keeps on wanting to aggress that position, but he needs to be a little bit more patient. Wait for the pass to happen before committing forward. Because the idea is good. He's finding the space. Now he just needs to use it.
Both these teams committing to a lot of long balls.
Save.
Epsilon slowly finding their range, a little bit more of those passes across the middle of the field. Been hitting it a little bit too long on previous attempts, but now getting closer and closer as they've had more and more attempts at it. Tylacto gets that one up to the side, and a lot's got the opportunity. As Tylacto realizes he can't go for the bump, chooses to go for the boost instead, and Flame just a little bit too close. So now, once again,
this is awkward.
Control. Both these teams employing the same strategy. Neither team able to really get much. Oh, that right there! A lot gets there just in time and pans it into the net.
Tylacto was running interference on the goal line. See, Repix just evaded Demo, and then a lot comes from way above. And slots it home, his first goal of the series. I think his 21st of the Elite Series as a whole. Looking to catch up with his 2 teammates who are vacant today, but still ahead of him in the score tally. Method are looking a lot better than I expected from them. Epsilon, the roster that have played together far more often, have not really utilized any synergy to their advantage so far. It is, in fact, Method who are connecting with passes more often than Epsilon are.
Yeah, it almost really looks like they're expecting Method to collapse in on themselves. when it just simply isn't happening. Every single time you ask a question like that, like, can you deal with this off the backboard? And someone from Method says, yeah, you know what, I can. They grow in confidence, and they suddenly feel more and more at home on this LAN stage. I want Epsilon to show more and more of the team play that brought them to this dance, and that's going to be a lot better. Goes off the post yet again, as Epsilon just needs to try and find that little bit extra magic. They want to take down this Method defense that is currently 1 goal to the better.
Again, 1-0. I really didn't expect this series to be so low scoring, with the stage being such a high-pressure situation today, but these teams are defending very well. Method are connecting with passes, but everything is going pretty well defended. Data there getting a key interception. All it takes, though, is one chance, and there it is. A lot with a good save. Final minute. Will Epsilon be able to up the tempo like we saw from Method in game 1 and 2? They do not want to give Method a 1-game lead. As we go into game 4, is this open for Repix? Tylacto misses it. That's a lob into the net from Data. Another chance. Goes undefended as it comes off the backboard. No connection from Tylacto.
He had a second jump as well. Only used the 1. Ends up completely missing the ball. Epsilon will take the open net. And we are now all tied up. They'll be very happy with seeing that go in. They are now in a position to potentially force the momentum shift.
It's huge.
Another lovely passing play. Will there be any follow-up? Nope, you've managed to be demoed mid-aerial. That was very impressive a lot.
A lot. The assassin just taking Epsilon clean out of the play. Still tied up in this series. Highest scoring game of the series thus far. There have only been 2 goals. But as we approach overtime, it looks like 1 goal might separate these teams yet again. Data with a great knockdown. It's wide open for Alex. What a pass from Data.
As a defender, you sit there, you sigh, and you watch as the inevitability of Alex coming in and turning that into the net. Well played from Epsilon, and they have the potential now from going 1-0 down, and in the final minute, turning it around and taking it 2-1 in regulation time. They maintain the offense to end this game. One final opportunity for Method, and it will be dropped. Epsilon go 2-1 up in this best of 7.
Data just turned that series around, lobbing it in for the equalizer, and then the pass of the series, just leaving the easiest shot of Alex161's career to win game 3 here, not game 4. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. Still, though, 2 more wins needed for Epsilon to take the series, and Method, it looked like they might be about to go up by 1, but suddenly, not even in overtime, they're already down. But my goodness, these teams, they certainly leave it late before they want to turn it around and make the comebacks.
And
great knockdown.
Not really been too much of a far-fetch throughout this Elite Series where we've been able to go back in series and say, you know what, that was the bit. That was where this series changed for the worse for one particular team. Method now need to make sure that that miss from Tylacto does not become that moment.
Yeah, it was a huge miss. Like you said, he had his second jump available. All he had to do is pop the ball to the corner, and then a lot was coming in to help him get the clear, but he just missed it. He thought he was enough. He thought he was high enough with the single jump, didn't bother hitting the second jump on his controller, and immediately regretted it as Data put a deft touch. It grazed the crossbar on the way in, and it is 2-1 for Epsilon. A much closer series than I expected to start things off. I really thought if Method were going to have a chance that they would need to make a resurgence at the end of the series, but they started off very well, very organized. Epsilon having to play their A game to stay nose in front. It was Data with a huge performance at the end of the game. He's really stepped up, been the hero for Epsilon when they needed him most.
None of these games so far won by anything more than a 1-goal margin. Nothing convincing yet. Definitely much more of this story to write before we eventually find out who will be going into next week's grand final. Tylacto wants to get a block. Actually could have been very scary of that. If that was pushed into the bumper of his car, could have been just basically a power shot towards his own net. So that's going to be dangerous. Comes all the way out, but Tylacto plays the shot rather than the man. Epsilon starting to play a lot smarter with this rotation, challenging pretty much everything to start up this opening minute.
Oh, what a touch from a lot. That's going to set up Tylacto. A lot of boost steals coming in for Method. So far, Epsilon have not been affected too much. I do like the offensive rotation of Method. It's looking very clean, making sure to make those bypasses across the front of the enemy net to get goalkeepers on the exit, and the boost steal on the far side. The boost is still being saved quite well from Epsilon. Despite all of the thieving that's coming in from Method, Epsilon doing well to hold on to what boost they do have and what they are able to secure. So a lot of credit to them has to be given. It is so difficult to play against a team who are boost starving you like Method are doing right now.
That's going to be a potential pass straight off the crossbar. Follow up there, but Tylacto will find himself too close yet again, forced to play over to the side where Flame is waiting. They're trying to get some blocks, but Alex161 is there in time, and a lot will keep this one dangerous, but there will be no follow-up. Flame and Tylacto involved in a two-person play beforehand. Completely out of boost, needs to go and find something else. And there's the pass into the middle, but Tylacto cuts himself in just in time. Still 0-0. These games, every single time, it's almost like it's still the first game. They're still trying to figure out stuff about each other.
Trying to find those weaknesses, which so far have really not revealed themselves too often. There only being 5 goals between both of these teams in now over 17 minutes of gameplay. That is an exceptionally low-scoring affair for a Rocket League series at the highest level. Credit to both teams for defense. Lots of trust. I could probably count the amount of double commits I've seen on one hand. That is a rare thing, especially with so many new players coming in the form of Tylacto and Flame. Not for their debut performances in the Elite Series, but still, they have not had many times to practice on that stage, like you mentioned earlier.
I'm seeing an awful lot of this now as well. Clears straight into the middle of the field, looking for that second touch. It's a very smart way of keeping the ball away from your net. However, it does mean that you are going to struggle to set up any sort of play. A lot puts that one over to the line. That might sneak all the way in, and it will do indeed. A lot crucial goal. 92 seconds remaining, and now Method are in the same position they were in last game. Time to hold on.
Data with a whiff on the wing before that ball even had a chance to center, and then Repix whiffing on the goal line. A lot credit to him for getting up before Alex161, but we have to say, what has happened to the defense of Epsilon? The most careless display we've seen in all 4 games by a landslide. But will they be able to make the comeback they did in Game 3? Will they be able to do it again? Method will need to be more careful than they were last time. Tylacto so far having a very solid defensive game. He was not shaken, it seems, by the whiff, which allowed Epsilon back into Game 3 and inevitably was their downfall. That's a great clear. This might be a shot for Tylacto, and it is, and he's found it well, but crossbar down and in for once. I do not finish that phrase with the word out. What a great shot.
Off the crossbar, straight into the net. And if they were worried about having a repeat of the last game, that is how you get rid of those worries, putting themselves 2 goals to the better, and the potential of being the first 2-goal win.
Is it a 2-goal lead? Do I see this? Do my eyes deceive me, Shogun?
I didn't know.
Do I in fact see a 2-goal lead between Method and Epsilon? Might be 1-goal lead if Epsilon have anything to say about it, but quick turnaround. Tylacto with another chance. Will they be able to hold on to this? They will be crushed morally. Is that even a word?
Morally, there you go.
No, not really morally crushed, but
morale,
you know what
sounds
I mean.
Like a really good hip hop song.
I don't think I don't think the morale for Method will be doing too well if they manage to throw away this 2-goal lead, despite their great comebacks that they've shown individually. They've not really had to make too many comebacks as a whole, as a team, as a unit. But Tylacto, the difference between how he finished Game 3 and how he played this entire Game 4 was just night and day. It's great to see the almost rookie stepping up to the plate, pleasing his fans who are out here in their hundreds, the thousands. They couldn't get them all in. There was a queue just all the way down past Stamford Bridge. They were all wearing blue shirts, but I'm sure they were all Tylacto fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway, we've been able to see the fans that are actually in the studio. And got to remember, we've spoken to players before, like Marky Duda. He said, you know, you can hear fans. If they are loud, you can hear them. You can hear the casters. And depending on how that swing is going, it can affect you. I mean, a lot of the players that have played over in the United States, they say, well, no one's cheering for us. Yeah. And it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel too good when the other team is scoring and there's a massive cheer, then you get scored on. And that same noise comes and hits you in both ears. That was the moment when Repix whiffed on that save. He just panicked. He thought the ball might have found its way in already, which it had not at the moment in which he jumped. Tylacto with maybe the goal of the series though. What a finish. Perfect placement, good speed in the midfield to get the first 2-goal advantage in 4 games that we've seen. And we're all tied up yet again. Best of 7 has become a best of 5, which has now become a best of 3 between these 2 teams. And one team will be going home after this in the 3rd, 4th place finish, which is not good because they want to come back one more week. They want to go to the final next Friday. But who is it going to be? My money right now has got to be on Method. The fans are showing up. They're giving Method all of their energy. But they're going to have to wait a while for this restart. Tylacto is spinning on the ground. That's never a good sign. False start in game 5. We'll get that one restarted as soon as we can.
I've played Tylacto in once, okay? That might actually be a strat.
To just get on his back and spin in a circle?
Yes.
He does that in person as well.
Just when you meet him, just on his back, okay, oh, hi, how are you?
Just spinning.
Very awkward man to meet, if anybody who's doing that.
He's practicing his rotation, he says, but I don't know how much that helps, personally.
That pun was too good.
Looking very focused. Looks like there might have been a technical issue with Repix, but I don't like technical difficulties excuses. The missed save that he had in game 4, he'll need to avoid a repeat of that in the rest of this series, or it might be curtains for Epsilon. And Epsilon, who find themselves very fortunate not to be up against the league goal-scoring leader Magnus, as he is over in California, trying to win the most part of $100,000 in the NBC tournament.
Chump change.
But they've left a lot in charge of the proceedings in London. And so far, so good. I mean, they're doing pretty well for themselves.
I mean, he's seen his teammates over in the States. He knows they're doing well. He doesn't want them to come back and say, well, what did you do a lot? Oh, I lost to Epsilon. Nah, he wants to go in and say, yeah, I won. Didn't need you guys. I'm the carry. But Epsilon be looking to now try and find their way back. Still a very large lack of team plays that we've seen from them when they're usually so much stronger every single time, trying to go off that backboard. I really want to see them try and cut across the middle of the field a little bit more.
And I'm looking at Data. He was the player to step up in game 3, really make that comeback possible, and he has been the one to set up their first goal in game 5. Certainly the playmaker to look out for is Data. He always finds a way to create chances. Flame not able to block the center ball, which ended up rolling right into what was an open net. 1-0 Epsilon, the earliest goal that we've seen in the series thus far.
And between that and the slight pause that we had in between games, you can pretty much cover out any sort of momentum that Method got from that previous win. They're going to be starting yet again from a blank slate.
Oh, Data again. Looking dangerous. Takes a little bit too long to get the flick recycled. Flame trying the tornado flick. Tylacto was wide open, but he decided to use Tylacto as bait and just go for the shot himself. Still looking for Tylacto to approach from a wider line. He's very far forward whenever he's looking to get into the play from the opposite wing in attack. It's a good shot, but it will go saved comfortably by Flame. He did well to hit the ball in such a way that it would come back towards Tylacto. This Method have managed to turn all this pressure around, and now they might be able to create a chance of their own. Yes, they will, but everybody is up for Epsilon. And now they've all got to get down pretty quickly before Method shoot on the what was a very, very momentarily open net. Oh, has that been touched? It has not been touched by Flame. Any touch would have taken it towards the target.
Surprisingly, the person that was most confident about that was Repex, who just stopped his car on the wall and just waited for it to come towards him. As Epsilon will look to try and increase their lead. They've got the opportunity now. Oh, they do have possession.
Well, that is no boost here. Tried a wave dash and just missed on it. Now his boost has been stolen. That missed wave dash in the midfield has really spiraled into a disaster for a lot. He's not had 100 boosts in about 30 seconds of gameplay, as much as he would want it, as Epsilon rain shots down on the Method goal, but they go unpunished for that small mechanical misplay from a lot, which just kept snowballing into worse and worse situations for him.
Yeah, but as we've seen in this series, opportunity has been few and far between for both of these teams, and Epsilon would have wished that they could have made something a little bit more of that. Flame has got the opportunity to get over to Tylacto as a lot still on that halfway line, waiting for the opportunity. Now Flame going to be caught by himself, basically putting that one straight back down. He is now out of this play. That has been put really high, and Tylacto yet again has the question asked. He couldn't quite answer it, but Flame comes in and gives him the cheat sheet.
There's just been such little boost on Method for the largest part of this game. Epsilon did a great job of dealing with that boost starvation strategy that Method tried on them last game. It looks like Method are really struggling when they're put under that same pressure. They just can't get any breathing room at the moment. Good passing play does set up a chance, but Repix with a key save. Well placed as well, leaving it up on the backboard for Data, and look at that turnaround. Tylacto needed to come in, but he's missed it again. And Flame has hit the crossbar himself. Everything is just falling to pieces in defense for Method. Still only 1 goal behind, despite all of this disorganization. They can count themselves lucky for now, but surely at some point their luck is bound to run out, and they need to try and find an equalizer before that happens. 1 minute, 15 seconds remain. Is Data coming off the ceiling? He does give him a few options there. He can choose to fly into the center, or, as he did, back into his own half to recover. Approaching that final minute. Method still looking for the goal. They have done well to explode into action in the final minutes previously, but they need to do it again.
Yeah, need to try and find some way through on this one. Final 50 seconds remaining, as Epsilon have done such a smart job with that rotation, but now Tylacto's got the opportunity. Well, being cut across and taking that ball away. Now reach 40 seconds along. Does get beat on that challenge. It's going to go all the way down to the other end of the field. Repex with the setup. Do not expect Epsilon to commit too hard to that. They realize that they have got the lead. Now that we have reached the midway point of this series, that win is even more important than ever. Repex will now try and take this the entire other way of the field. And once again, Method, they are stuck in their own half. They need to find another way. Those loose balls will not help. There is no challenge. Just get an opportunity for a flick. Take it all the way to the side, but nothing happening. Final 10 seconds. Method need to get something done here.
It just doesn't look likely, Shogun. Double match point is on the cards for Epsilon if they can just hold on to this lead. And it looks like they will, unless a lot has something to say about it. Still, the ball is in the air, but it's so far away from reach, and it will ground. Epsilon, double match point. They lead 5 games to 3 in this best of 7. Method just did not look as organized in defense as they have throughout the rest of the series. I don't know what happened, but there was whiffs coming in. There was just people missing boosts, and all these small mechanical misplays, like a lot whiffing on that attempted wave dash recovery. Just not the cleanest play from any of them, and nobody's really to blame. They just have to try to pick themselves back up and make the comeback happen.
Yeah, really do. A lot of whiffs overall. Tylacto, I actually ended up counting. There ended up being 5 from him.
Oh,
all of them in his own half, so very dangerous indeed. That is going to be it right there. That was the goal.
What a simple goal as well.
It was noticing that Flame was out of boost. When he went for the double jump forward, he realized, hey, he didn't use any boost to try and get himself go a bit forward, so just powered it. Pushed himself through, got the ball in front of the net. Easy tap in to finish it off. It's just noticing those small little things can open up big gaps in defense.
Yeah, we saw that from Infused against, it was, I think, Prophecy in that ridiculous comeback weeks ago, where just very, very simple center balls. Sometimes that's all you need to get the goal, which turns into a winning goal. Of course, it was very early in the game when that happened, but it was a largely unthreatened Epsilon who did take game 5. They did not look in danger throughout that game. And now
the team's really struggling to score.
Indeed,
those mistakes become
there we go. Never mind.
That is a huge way to start the game, and the crowd really getting behind their boys there. Well done, straight off the kickoff, winning the race for the boost.
That is what I want to see from Method. They cannot hesitate. If they go out of this series, if they, make it 5 wins in a row to finish off the league portion, and then they lose to Epsilon in the semi-finals, 4-2. They will not be happy. They need to go out with a bang. They've got to be aggressive. They need to start making connections to the ball. Again, Tylacto, like you say, he's creeping up so close when he's waiting for those center balls. I think if he just waits further back, he would be far more likely to score.
Seems to be grabbing hold of the boost and then immediately turning himself sideways, waiting for a ball to come in towards him. Unfortunately, those boosts are pretty close to the side of the walls. You can't really stay around there. You've got to go for more of a circle rotation and get yourself facing towards the net. It's a long clear from him. Expect to see more and more of those. They do not necessarily need to push as hard as they needed to in the last game. Data and the rest of Epsilon still, their strategy has not changed throughout the entire series. Very simple, strong rotations, as those passing plays have, I mean, at least they're trying for them now.
They're looking for Data. Data is the playmaker for Epsilon. They're just trying to wait until he gets his hands on the ball, see what he can do with it, see if he can take Method out of the game and allow his teammates to come in and score. I think we do need to touch on that positioning from Tylacto again, because if he has a later approach, a wider approach to that exact same shooting position, he can strike the ball from the same place that he's in. He just needs to make the run up to the ball to get the power. Right now he's sitting waiting for the ball to come to him.
And consider the amount of times as well that we brought it up. Those are, every time we've brought it up so far, that is one big opportunity that has been wasted. That's a lovely save, but unfortunately it will be followed up. Alex with the save yet again. As Method now trying to force Epsilon into their own half, a 2-goal lead. Not usually something we'd call a game on, but with a series like this, I actually would put something on it.
A 2-goal lead, like I said, in the series like this is almost something you can't come back from. Another big chance for Tylacto, but no pace on the shot. There's no momentum when he finally gets his hands on the ball. The defense can also see him coming from that position. Very, very centrally positioned. Sitting still. Easy to keep an eye on. I do just want to see him one time just come flying in from the side of the pitch, from the blind spot, take everybody by surprise, including me at this point, because we're getting so used to seeing him being in the middle, never coming from out wide. So far, they're just doing enough to try to tie up this series. We asked for a Game 7. We might get to see one if Method can avoid the defensive collapse that happened in the previous game.
It's going to be played downfield. No boost around though for it to be followed up instead. Happy to play this long ball game though will be Method. It's finally Epsilon leaving players around, taking one player around. There is going to be the receipt on a lot on Repex and Repex on a lot. But that does leave an open net. Tylacto can follow it up. And for everything we've said about him so far, you can wipe away it all when you get a goal like that puts your team 2-0 up in such a crucial game.
Great finish in a super high pressure situation. Tylacto holds his own, and there is the 2-goal lead. Only the second one that we've seen in all 6 games that have been played. Method on the brink of tying us up once again. It's been a completely back and forth series with Epsilon edging in front and then Method equalizing repeatedly. Will it happen one more time? 1 minute and 40 seconds for Epsilon to try and break the wheel, to try and stop this cycle from happening one last time. Although assuming that the continues into Game 7, they won't be too disappointed. Tylacto! Oh my goodness!
Okay, he's figured out his zone now. He does not want anyone to pass to him anymore. He's going to take it by himself. He's going to get whatever he wants to get done. And he's going to get some goals by doing that. And I tell you what, if it was working, who are we to complain?
Well, 3-goal lead. We're getting spoiled right now. This is
deep water right here, Johnny.
Unprecedented.
Did you, I never learned how to swim this deep.
I don't know if we get many more. I'm not sure I can count higher. I've forgotten. This series has been so low scoring, I've actually forgotten how to count past 2. Oh, will it be 4? Yes, it will. A lot. Pretty much in a different continent, he's so aggressively positioned. That is some good trust that he's got his teammates. 4-0. Epsilon need to start thinking about Game 7 right now.
Absolutely. We are guaranteed at this point the game that will decide who is going to head on to next week's finals. We still have the other semi-final to be played later on today. But don't even expect for a moment for Method to really slow down the pace and accept this win for what it is. They want as much strength as possible heading into that deciding game. A match as one-sided as this. It's hard to say whether or not Epsilon will be able to shake it off. Such a high-pressure situation, and for a lot of these players, this is the first time.
Oh, what a shot by Repex, though.
You're seeing a new type. Repex, that is a new side of your play.
That is a phenomenal touch. Cherry picker, eat your heart out. Flame, see you later. It is almost just a celebratory goal with still being 3 goals down and only 37 seconds left on the clock, but that is one way to swing the momentum just ever so slightly back in your team's favor as we get to that all-important Game 7. What a shot by Repex, completely taking Method by surprise. I just wonder, where has that been all series long? It's been a while in the making.
Attempted it, to be honest. They've not really left anyone available for those direct passes.
It might be 5. A lot can find the back of the net. And what has been the lowest scoring series that we've seen in a long time at the Gfinity Elite Series. It's almost been outscored in a single game. 6 goals. Before this, I think we only saw about 7 or 8 in the other 5 games combined. Method still on the rise, but they need to break that odd game curse. They've lost game 1, 3, and 5, which does not bode well going into game 7 if you're a superstitious fellow. I hope for Method's sake that they are not.
So, what are we going to see in our very last game? Ladies and gentlemen, it's tiebreaker time. Game 7 is now confirmed, locked in, and you can play 6 games. You can play every game you want to. I think we could play another 15 games and they'd still be all tied up. So you know what? Let's settle it with 1.
Let's just do a best of 1. It's come all the way down to this. There's no point in best of 7s between Epsilon and Method. 1 game is all it will take to settle the score. I hope we at least get as many goals as we saw in game 6. Maybe not such a one-sided game.
No, I mean, I would analyze this game, but the only word that's really coming into my head is slap.
Yeah, it was definitely a slap. Lots of slaps, in fact. As there's the 3rd slap from Tylacto. Or the 2nd one, rather. There's the 3rd one.
So
almost multiple slaps on that.
So Tylacto's playing by himself, and we can see a lot on Flame come together there. They'll actually play as Method. Tylacto will play as Tylacto.
Yeah, we've got a lot in Flame. Teaming up with Tylacto to try to get the win. Of course, Mognus and Metza, should the win happen today for Method, I'm sure they'll be making a comeback for the grand final in week 9 of the Gfinity Elite Series. Before we can think about that, it is all on Tylacto and Flame to help a lot get there. They need 1 more win. They've not won an odd game in this series thus far.
So for you right now, I'm going to pitch this to you.
Oh, no.
But both teams...
Don't do it.
No, I'm not asking for a prediction.
Oh, thank goodness.
What do both teams need to do for them to take this crucial win?
I'd say Method need to not have a complete defensive blunder like they did in Game 5, and they'll be fine. Epsilon need to give the ball to Data.
Can't say I disagree with that. Data's delivery has been absolutely phenomenal so far, but he's had no follow-up. This opening goal will be absolutely crucial. Very few comebacks seen so far. In fact, I believe only the 1 in this entire series.
Indeed.
The shutdown rate has been very good indeed. But now it's time to see who can deal with the nerves. The best Tylacto with a whiff does not want to make that a continuous thing as we continue on this series. And that will not be pinched towards the net. Those situations you don't know.
I would hate to see these teams separated by random pinch goal from the midfield after such an even series. But well played thus far by Method to try and shut down Epsilon. Oh my goodness, the slowest follow-on by Data, just floating after the ball. You did make contact.
You could hear him slamming that boost button, hoping he had some.
Oh, and now Flame start.
None at all.
Everybody floating after the ball this game, just hoping that they can get a touch on the end of it. It's all Epsilon to start things off, and that's a huge chance that's just gone astray. Method are so fortunate.
I mean, tried to play the shot rather than the ball itself. Expected a lot to make contact to get the block instead, but hey, it's the same with solo standard. You don't expect people to hit the ball or miss the ball. You just play what happens.
If you've queued up solo standard, that is the first problem.
That's the first mistake you made.
Indeed.
Oh! What else is there to say for that one? Repex out of nowhere.
Was this an attempted post pinch for the save? Great shot by Repix. Tylacto just not able to pinch it out off his own post. He had the right idea. But now again, they find themselves trailing in that odd-numbered game. It's the Method curse. They can't win odd-numbered games. They wish this series started at game 2.
Like I said, I don't believe Epsilon have dropped a lead yet.
Indeed.
So if that was to be it, then now all we need to see is Epsilon hold on to what they have done so far throughout this entire tournament. Keep that 1-goal lead where it is, maybe make it 2. But for right now, it is all on Method, what their response will be to going down in the opening 2 minutes of this crucial final game. As Epsilon really now starting to spread out that rotation. Only one player allowed forward, everyone else is going back.
They're allowing Method chances. It's almost certain that Method are going to have plenty looks at the Epsilon goal if Epsilon keep rotating this wide and giving them space to fashion counterattacks and passing plays. But it is still a big ask for Method to break both their curses.
Method are only launching long.
Oh, there's a big chance and or Flame rather. Was fast to the ball, but it did get saved. Almost, we're over halfway through the game. Deceptively fast game here to finish off the series. The Method are starting to panic. We see double commit there from Flame and a lot. This is the time that they need to be the most careful.
Another launch. They've got to stop this.
Oh, that was worked out well though.
Straight off the backboard. Alex eventually comes through. Tylacto forced to get something. He has pushed that to the side. But now here comes the pressure from Epsilon as they've all backed off of it, but they've all backed off.
Getting so much space.
He's trying to do something with this. That is much better though. They managed to force a little bit more pressure onto Epsilon.
Oh, what pass.
Oh my goodness, hits the post. 2 players committed as well. Epsilon need to get themselves back. Although a demo on Alex, he'll actually be happy about that. Means that he's now forced into a defensive position. Tylacto trying for something down there. As we head into the final 90 seconds, Johnny boy, Method have got all the work to do.
They just start creating any meaningful chances. They're getting, apart from that one center ball that Flame nearly put home, it's just a complete mess in the midfield. The ball bouncing around, nobody hitting it with any purpose. Now a chance for Tylacto. He's wide in that position we've wanted him to use all series. He does get the center ball to Alot, who's popped it pretty greedily to himself. He had options to hit that high off the backboard. 1 minute. Still, Method need a goal, or this is the end of their Elite Series Season 1 run. Tylacto with a 50-50, but it comes out well for Epsilon, who are holding their ground. They're standing in the way of Method, defending their goal with everything they've got. Can Method even find a chance to score, far less take it?
3 minutes has turned into 40 seconds. Method needs something. Struggling to put anything together, but finally they're getting it off the backboard. Oh! Put it low. Great save there from Repix. Does not pre-jump. Instead gets himself there just in time. Final 30 seconds here. Flame will try and take this up the wall, but well played there by Alex. They are reading this so well, are the Epsilon boys. And now they're going to just try and force the opposing side into their own half. Flame.
Oh, everybody's up.
Tylacto gets something as well, but why did a lot go? Flame can continue to play this. Final 10 seconds. Epsilon must hold on. Once again, an early shot played. Last opportunity, but Tylacto's played on the side. This is going to drop, and if it does, this will mean that Epsilon Flame through. It's still in the air, and finally, Epsilon Esports claw their way to our grand finals.
Wow, another 1-0 lead. Epsilon do take it. The odd game curse was just too strong for Method to break. Despite their best efforts, they were hardly able to break out of their own half, and it was panic stations at the end. No one was able to find a meaningful chance on net. Solid defense from everybody in Epsilon, and shout out to Repix with a great goal. Just a little bit too hard for Tylacto to keep out.
Yeah, Repix really coming up big in that final game, taking the MVP, getting a big save towards the end as well, saving Method's only real final opportunity on net. In that entire 3 minutes, they were limited to one real chance. But this is it right here.
Great side flip shot, isn't it?
That is how you go through to the grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. You take what you can get and you make the most of it.
I can't believe that that wasn't a goal. Flame looked destined to tie the game. But it was not just a messy finish from a lot in the gang. It was also Epsilon looking a little bit chaotic in their end. Everybody just a little bit all over the place to finish things off. But, wow, 7 games was needed to take this series for Epsilon. They're moving into the finals. Goodbye to Method. And we, I think, have one correct prediction on the desk from a very, very chuffed-looking Dragon. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say about this when we throw it back over there to the analyst desk.
Yeah, well, no, there's a 2-1. Only ever a 1.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cole and Stumpy are going to be too happy with themselves.
Thank you very much, Johnny Boy Shogun. They deserve a well-earned break after that. A 7-game thriller, 4-3 in the end. I mean, gentlemen, we didn't see that on the cards, but an incredible game, wasn't it, Cole?
It was so up and down. At no point did any team look like running away with it. There was a time in the 3rd game where I thought Epsilon, their heads had gone. It looked like Method were going to just carry on through and just win everything single game from them. But at any point, as soon as it looked like one team was going to run away from it, the other one would just come out of nowhere and start dominating right back. It was crazy.
And what about yourself, Greg? And what did you notice from that enthralling game?
I mean, you summarised it there. It was one game apiece the whole way through, and it was just the fact that Epsilon got the first one and got the last one that made the difference. But there was actually one game that I think really swayed the whole series, and that was when Epsilon were 1-0 down right until the final moments, and they brought it back and won 2-1 in the last minute. And that is a huge change in momentum. It's such a psychological boost, and I think that genuinely is the reason Epsilon won.
Yeah, Stumpy, we were watching that backstage, just dining out on what a feast of Rocket League there.
I know, it's amazing. I mean, Method put up a fantastic fight there. I mean, they had in their, what was it, their 5th game or 6th game, it was 5-1 to Method, which is, out of all the games, there's only ever a 1-goal difference between any of the other games. And then out of nowhere, there was a 5-1. It was absolutely incredible.
Okay, yeah, I mean, gentlemen, if that's how good the first semi-final was, I mean, we're in for an absolute treat with our next one with Infused and Endpoint. But, I mean, what more could they have done? It had everything, that game, didn't it?
Do you know what? My favourite moments were the crazy goals, and particular one that stands out in my mind was Repex coming out with the most unnatural angle you'll ever see in Rocket League. He did it multiple times, but there was one in particular, which I'm sure has been coming up here. And then, to be fair, Method put up a huge fight, and at times I thought they were going to take away with it, especially in that Game 6.
For the purists out there who love their Rocket League, I mean, so many people in this arena were cheering on Method. You know, there was great play from both. There was also some bad play at times, wasn't there?
It was incredibly scrappy, but I'll tell you what, some Rocket League games go like that. Not every game is going to have beautiful passing goals and incredible plays.
That was the goal there. Yeah.
They gave each other a look of, oh, that was spicy.
It was spicy. It had everything. But as you say, you know, there was some bad play as well there.
That's part of it. Sometimes you just got to break through, and you've got to keep your head really, and that is what Epsilon did so well.
Okay, well, listen, gentlemen, I can't wait for this. It's something new to Elite Series. When we get to this stage in the semi-final, what I can do is I can welcome the winning team right down here to the Gfinity Arena. So let's do it. Here come Epsilon. Listen, gentlemen, Epsilon, congratulations. The new jerseys look very nice for the semi-finals. Repex, put it into words. What does it feel like to get through that 7-game thriller?
It was really close. We were really nervous also at the end. It's really good to get rid of all that pressure we had.
Yeah, and were there nerves throughout? Because it was, they'd win one, you'd win one, it was back and forth. Were you ever, there was one point Cole said you may have lost your heads a little bit, Game 3 perhaps. Was that true up there?
Maybe in some parts of the game, but we never really thought oh no, we're gonna lose now. We always knew that we can win every game. So
yeah, brilliant. Well, fantastic performance, Repace. I come on to Alex161, a jack of all trades, they said on the desk. How did you feel your performance was today?
I mean, we performed all pretty well. I feel like our comms were the most important. We keep calling, and if it was like Game 7, it's much more mentality to do. It's not about the mechanical skill much. It's just the mentality, and we had really good comms. Everything was good. It
worked together. The teamwork, the synergy. Yeah. Going through to the final now. You must be very excited. You must be happy as well.
Yeah, pretty happy. I hope we win the final as well.
Well, of course, there's more money to play for as well. Have you already spent that money in your head?
Nah.
Not yet, he has. That's definitely a look over, he has. Listen, Data, we were at Gamescom over in Cologne. I feel quite like I need to get up on tiptoes here. You stand with pride now. You've just beaten Method. It finished 4-3 to you. Describe how you're feeling right now, Data.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah.
I mean, what was going through your head when we got to 3-3? We went down to that last match. Did you feel like you'd let it slip, or did you feel like you were still strong enough and had a chance?
No, I thought we were winning the entire games. Like, even the ones where we were like down 3 goals at the start, I still thought we were going to win that game.
Yeah, listen, Data, you must be buzzing. These guys are genuinely so happy. But when there's winners, there are also losers. We'll see these guys in the final, but what about the guys that we won't see in the final? Ariel, how are they doing?
Yeah, I'm here in the green room, and it's pretty silent for Team Method because, well, that wasn't the result you were wanting, was it, guys?
No. No, it wasn't.
I want to say you really had it there right at the end. I mean, up until the 6th match, you won 5-1. Where did it all go wrong in that last match?
Well, the actual goal itself that we lost to was pretty unfortunate, but we had our chances, myself in particular, but it just, I guess it was just the pressure, really. Fell to the wrong person.
Do you think that was the catalyst, their goal in the final game, for it going wrong for you guys? Did you lose your head a bit, or was it just a case of bad luck?
Well, I can't really say we were unlucky. I think they still deserved it. It's just, if you look back on the series, I think all but one of the games, the team that scored the first goal won, and that's actually getting more and more common now because it forces the other team to play different. Yeah. And we were just unable to change up play style quick enough, I guess.
Okay. Flame, I'm going to come to you. You've been playing with Method a few times throughout our series. How are you going to recoup from this? What do you take away from the experience you've had here in the Elite Series?
Well, we came out and we just played the best that we could. We couldn't really do anything else. So just take the experience of LAN experience and then just try and improve.
Okay. Well, we wish you all the best, guys, for the next series. Hope we'll see you in Season 2, yes? Once you've cheered off a bit. Now, we asked you earlier on in the show who you think was going to win our second semi-final match of the end of the day, which is Endpoint versus Infused, and I can tell you it was a close vote, with Infused winning only by 55%. That'll be our next game.
Thank you very much to Ariel with the Method lads. A lot not feeling 100% before the match. That probably won't have played too much into the proceedings there. They look dejected, but they'll come back for Season 2, won't they?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And playing in this environment with the loudest crowd we've had yet, and it's not just that, it's the pressure of being a knockout game. Because up to this stage, it's just been for points in the league. Knockout, there's a lot more pressure on you, and a best of 7. Just everything was slightly different, and it might play into their heads.
Yeah, of course. Well, listen, gentlemen, we have got a cracking match on the way for us, so don't go anywhere to these gentlemen, and neither should you. So listen, and narrow back in for Infused there. We'll find out very shortly if it is correct.